Okay, lesson 6.2, solving one-step multiplication and division equations. We're going to be using multiplication and division. Remember, our ultimate goal is to solve this equation. So let's review. The goal in solving equations is to get the variable by itself. The golden rule of equations, the golden rule, that means it's the most important rule of equations, is what you do to one side, you must do to the other. Okay, properties. I know sometimes that these just look like a lot of words and are confusing, so I'm going to try to make it so that you understand them. Multiplication property of equality. For every real number A, B, and C, if A equals B, then A times C equals B times C. So it's like the balance the balance that we talked about in class, where if I add 2 to one side and I add 2 to the other, it's still in balance. That's like this. If I multiply by C on one side and I multiply C by the other, it's still in balance. And the division property of equality says for every real number A, B, and C, where C does not equal 0, then A divided by C equals B divided by C. So again, if I divide by C on one side and I divide by C on the other, it is still in balance. Okay, our first example, we have 20 equals 4 times x. So I draw my line to show the different sides of my balance, and I circle my variable, that's what I'm trying to get by itself, and then I look and I say 4 times x. So to undo that multiplication, I'm trying to undo that multiplication between 4 and x, I'm going to use division. So I'm going to divide both sides by 4. I'm going to divide by 4. And 4 divided by 4 is 1. So I get 1x, this becomes 1, and 20 divided by 4 is 5. Now, we learned at the beginning of chapter 5 that I don't have to write 1x. I can just write x equals 5. So I now have my variable by itself. Here I have 39 equals 3y. So I'm going to draw my line to show my different sides of my equation. I'm going to circle y because that's the variable that's by itself. And then I'm going to look and I have 3 times y. So to undo that multiplication, I'm going to use division, and I'm going to do divide by 3. 39 divided by 3 is 13, and 3 divided by 3 becomes 1, so this is 1y, and again I can write that as just y equals 13. I circle it, and that's my answer. Okay, I have 30 equals 6 times x, so I'm going to draw my line to show my different sides. I'm going to circle my x. And here I have multiplication, 6 times x. So to undo that multiplication, I'm going to use division. So I'm going to divide both sides by 6. 30 divided by 6 is 5. 6 divided by 6 is 1. So I'm left with 1x. And again, you don't have to write this step right here. You can skip it. And then I have x equals 5. Okay, go ahead and try this on your own, and then hit pause, and then try it on your own. In the end, you should get x equals -7. Okay, I'm going to circle my z. I'm going to draw my line, and this is -4 times z, so I'm going to divide by -4, and that becomes 1. So I have 1z. 60 divided by -4 is a -15. And again, I'm going to rewrite it so it's just a variable, z equals -15. Okay, go ahead and hit pause and try this one on your own. Then when you come back, a equals -6. Okay, last one. You should hit pause and try it on your own. And when you successfully do so, you should have gotten d equals a +8, because a negative divided by negative is a positive. Okay, Serena mailed 138 letters during the last 6 days. Write and solve an equation to find an average of how many letters she mailed each day. So again, this is, a lot of people just want to take 138 divided by 6 because they know that's what they're supposed to do, which is awesome, but you need to make the equation. That's part of your grade. So you do 6 times the number of letters she mailed each day equals 138 total. So we draw our line, we circle our variable, and then this is multiplication, so we use division, so we divide by 6. And then that becomes 1, so we have D equals 23 letters. So I circle it, and that's my answer. Mrs. Acosta's car can travel an average of 24 miles on each gallon of gasoline. Write and solve an equation to find how many gallons of gasoline she will need for a trip of 348 miles. So you take 24 times the number of gallons of gasoline, and that equals 348. So you draw your balance, circle your variable. This is multiplication, so we use division to move the 20 to get rid of the 24. And that becomes 1, so we have G equals 348 divided by 24 is 14.5 gallons. So I circle it, and that's my answer. Okay, now we have A divided by -4 equals -9. So I draw my line, I circle my variable. To undo division, I'm going to use multiplication. So when I am multiplying -4/1 times A over -4, these cancel out. So I'm left with A equals, I almost forgot to multiply by -4 over here. What's -9 times -4? A negative times a negative equals a positive. So -9 times -4 is a positive 36. So I circle it, and that's my answer. I will not in the future write this over 1. Business, you know that because I just taught you. And you don't need to spend your time writing that every time. So it won't be written. We'll just show multiply by -4, and you'll understand that's because we could cross reduce. Okay, here we have m divided by 2 equals -10. So I draw my line to show my two sides of my equation. I circle my variable m, and to get rid of that division, I multiply by 2. And what I do to one side, I must do to the other. The 2's cancel out, and I'm left with m equals -10 times 2 is -20. And I circle it, and that's my answer. Okay, here I have y divided by -3 equals -8. So I draw my line, I circle my variable. To undo that division, I'm going to multiply by -3. And what I do to one side, I must do to the other. So I multiply by -3 on the other side as well. The -3's cancel out, and I'm left with 1y equals -8 times -3 is a positive 24. You circle it, and that's my answer. Okay, I suggest you try this one on your own. Hit pause and then hit play when you're ready for an answer. And the answer should be m equals -35. Again, I would try this one on my own, so go ahead and hit pause. And when you are ready, b equals -180. Okay, the distance D Tina travels in her car while driving 60 miles per hour for 3 hours is given by the equation D divided by 3 equals 60. How far did she travel? So we just need to get D by itself to know the distance. So to do that, we circle our D, we draw our two sides. To get rid of the division, we use multiplication. So we're going to multiply both sides by 3. That cancels out, and I'm left with D equals 180, and we are talking about D for distance and miles, so it's 180 miles. Circle it, and that's my answer.